Hello everyone, I am Kay from HourglassCrochetByK, and today I'm going to teach you how to make 3 versions of one crop top. So the first option that you can make is this more relaxed tank version. All versions have a lace-up back, like a corset. Next version is the bow top that has this piece in the middle that makes it look like a bow, and the third version is my favorite, the scrunch top. So the tools that you'll need today will depend entirely on the size that you're making. This is a made-to-measure pattern, so you can customize it to be as big or as small as you want. Okay, so when starting this piece, we have 2 options. We can either do a chain and then single crochet into that chain, or we can do a foundation single crochet row. So I'll show you what both of those look like. So if we're just going to chain, it needs to be a multiple of 3. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have our chain of 6, it's a multiple of 3. I'm just going to chain one more just to get the height that we need, and then I single crochet into the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is option 1. Option 2, if we want to skip doing the chain and the single crochet separately, we can do a foundation single crochet. So to do a foundation single crochet, we start by making 2 chains. 1, 2, and then we take our hook, and you see where the two threads cross over there, we just push our hook through them and we pull a loop through. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull this through the first loop, not the second one. Now I'm going to treat it like it's a normal single crochet. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So now that we've got this set up, the next time I'm going to see this cross here. This is where I'm going to insert my hook and pull up a loop. Then I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Yarn over, pull through the first loop, and pull through the second, those 2 following loops. So just to show you one more time, see this cross, pull through, or push through, sorry, and pull through a loop. Yarn over, and yarn over. And see, so this creates our foundation single crochets up here without needing to chain. If you're a beginner, you might not prefer to do this method. You might prefer doing the chain and then adding the single crochet after. That's absolutely fine. This is just an option. So you're going to start by making a multiple of 3 regardless. Okay, so now I am just finishing up my last foundation single crochet, and I've decided to make 30 single crochets. So remember, it's a multiple of 3. The reason it's a multiple of 3 is so that it matches up with what I'm going to do in the next row. So I'm going to start by chaining 1 and turning my work. Now into this very first stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1 and skip the next and single crochet. So we're working in multiples of 3 here. So essentially the pattern we're going to follow is single crochet, chain and skip 1, and single crochet. So now working into the next, I'm doing a single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet. And I'm just going to do this all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so now we've finished our second row, and we're just going to get started on our third row by doing a chain 1. Then we're going to single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into the chain 1 space. and then single crochet into that next stitch. And we're just going to follow this all the way across, just remembering that we're crocheting into the chain one space. Then our next two rows are actually the exact same. So our next two rows, we're going to be doing that single crochet, chain one space, single crochet, and then we're going to follow it up with one more single crochet row before we're done with this section. Okay, so I have just finished my grommet section. Essentially, that's just the portion where there would be grommets if I was making a corset. So that's where all these holes are where the string will be laced through. Now I'm going to crochet 3 or chain 3 just to get the height that we need, and then I'm going to turn. So into this first stitch, I'm going to do an increase. So I'm going to do into this back loop only 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Then I'm going to continue doing double crochets all the way across into the back loop every time. And then when we get to our last stitch, we're going to do another increase. So I will meet you there. So I've double crocheted across. I'm just working in my second last stitch, doing my last double crochet. Now into this last stitch, I'm going to do another increase. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet and a second double crochet. And that's it, that's our first increase row. So we're just going to repeat exactly what we did until the piece reaches around your back and underneath the front of your armpit. So just to show you one more time how I'd start this next row, I'm chaining 3 just to get my height, turning, yarn over, and remember we're just working into that back loop. And instead of doing 1, I'm doing 2. And then I'm just continuing to double crochet across. And then same thing we just did in this very last stitch over here, we're going to add 2. So we'll carry on increasing until we reached all the way underneath where our armpit is. Okay, so I'm just finishing an example of my last increase row. So last one, into that back loop only, I'm doing 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. So now I'm going to chain 3. And by this point, we should be at the edge of the front of our armpit. So we're just going to be, this will be the part that stretches across your chest. So we're not doing any more increases or decreases. We are just doing 1 double crochet in every single stitch across. And you can do that until it reaches all the way across your chest until the front of the other side of your armpit. And then we're going to start doing our decrease stitches. So it's really important to just keep in mind the number of the increase rows that you've made. So for mine that I've done, I did about 7 increase rows. And on the other side, after I've completed my chest rows, I'm going to do the same number of decrease rows. So I did 7 increase rows, so I'm also going to do 7 decrease rows. Okay, so now we have finished working our way across these middle non-increase rows, and now we're about to start our decrease rows. So just at the end here, like usual, I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to turn my work. Now same thing, working into the back loop only, we're going to start our decrease rows. So to make a decrease, we're going to make a decrease at the beginning and a decrease at the end of every row. So to do that, I yarn over, insert into this first stitch. Now I have 1, 2, 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those first 2. Now I'm going to yarn over, insert into the second stitch. So we just worked into the first one, now we're working into the second stitch of this row. Pull through. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. Now you have 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through the last 3. And that's how we make our decrease. So we're just going to continue doing our double crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you at the other side and show you how to do the decrease over there. I'm just finishing up my last double crochet before we do our next decrease. So I am stopping where I have 2 stitches left at the end of this row. So we're just going to do the exact same thing we did on the other side. We're going to yarn over, insert into that first stitch. Now we have 1, 2, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2. Now we have 2 loops, yarn over and into the next stitch, this guy. So in here, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through those last 3. So now we've just completed a decrease on both sides of our piece. So for me, if you're following along with my numbers, this row, the previous row, I had 44 stitches. So now for this row, I will have 42. So I'm just going to carry on and do the exact same thing. So just to show you one more time, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn my work, then working into that back loop only, yarn over, I have 3 loops, pull through the first 2, yarn over, into the second stitch. Now I have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and pull through those last 3. So we're just going to carry on continuing doing our double crochets across and doing a decrease on each side for the same number of rows that you did increases. So in my case, I did 7 increase rows. So now I'm going to do 7 decrease rows, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I have just completed my last decrease row. If you are following along with my numbers, that means that you've just made 7 rows where we've decreased. So now we're just going to do exactly what we did on the other side to create this kind of grommet space where we're going to weave our chain in and out of to tie it up. So to start, we're just going to chain 1, turn our work, and then we're just going to single crochet across in the back loop only. This is our last row where we're going to be working in the back loop only. After this, we're going to be working in both loops. So I've just finished my first single crochet row across, working into the back loop. Now we are no longer working to the back loop. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and single crochet into this first stitch, going through both loops. Now I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, and then single crochet in this next loop, or in this next stitch. Then I'm going to do that all over again. I'm going to single crochet, chain 1 and skip 1, and single crochet. And I'm just going to repeat this all the way across. Now I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm just going to single crochet into every single crochet stitch, going through both loops, and into every single crochet, or into every chain space as well. And I'm just going to do this all the way across. So exactly like we did when we were first starting the piece, we're going to repeat that single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet pattern all the way across again, and then we're going to do one last row of single crochet, and then our body piece is done. This is what our final body piece should look like. Now we're just going to make a really long chain so that we can lace up the back. So I prefer at least 200 chains. You might even want a little bit longer depending on how you want it. I just tend to prefer longer chains. So that is the next step. And then you can lace it up and try it on and see how it fits. This is what it looks like now that it's all been laced up, and on to the next steps. So just like the body of our piece, we can either start by doing a chain or we can start by doing a foundation stitch. So in this example, I am doing a foundation chain. I'm doing 8 chains because that's how wide I would like my arm straps to be. So now I am going to chain 3 so I can get the height of the double crochet that I'm about to do. And then I'm going to double crochet into that first chain and all the way across. So if you would like to do the foundation double crochet, it is very similar to the foundation single crochet, but instead of starting with 2 chains, this time we're going to start with 3. We're going to yarn over this time and insert into that very first chain. Then we're going to pull up a loop, so we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through the first loop. Now we have 3 again, and we're going to pull through the first 2 and pull through the next 2. Yarn over into those cross stitches, pull up a loop until we have 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first one. Now we have 3, pull through the first 2, and pull through the next 2 loops on our hook. And we just keep repeating that until our arm straps are the width that we want them to be. They don't need to be a multiple of anything this time. So for me, I want mine to be 8 stitches wide, keeping in mind that I am going to increase them slightly as I work. Okay, so this next row is going to be an increase row. So I'm going to start by chaining 3, and then I'm going to turn my work, and working into the back loop only, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So this is an increase row, so when I reach the other side, I'm also going to do 2 double crochets. So I've completed my first increase, and now I'm just going to double crochet all the way across. So now I'm just finishing my last stitch before the very last one. I'm going to insert my hook and do 2 double crochets into that same back loop only stitch. Then I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work. And this row is going to be a non-increase row, so it's just going to be a normal row across. I'm going to continue alternating between increase rows and decrease rows until my sleeve is the height I want it to be. I'm now crocheting my middle row, and this is just another row that's going to be no increase or decrease before we start our next decrease rows. So I am finishing my last non-increase or decrease row, and now I'm going to start doing a decrease. So I'm going to chain 3, and this is worked the exact same way that the decreases are worked in the body. So I'm going to yarn over. I have 3 loops on my hook, pull through 2, yarn over, and into the back loop of the next stitch. I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And that's your decrease. So just like on the other side, how you're alternating between increase rows and non-increase rows, we're going to alternate between decrease rows and non-decrease rows until it matches the other side. So now we're just going to attach our sleeve to the body of our work. So I'm just going to line it up so I'm working the wrong side out, and I'm essentially just going to work 2 stitches into every side double crochet of the body. So there's 1, and there's 2. So the width of my sleeve is about 8 stitches long. So that means that I'm going to be working into the sides of 4 double crochets. And I'm just going to continue single crocheting across until I get to the end, where I'm going to cut and secure. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other ends of the sleeves. And here's what the seam looks like now that it's done. Once you're done seaming the sleeves to the body of the top, option 1 is complete. So give it a try on and see if you like this, or continue on if you want to try out option 2 or option 3. Next, super simple, I'm just going to crochet a double crochet rectangle with no increases or decreases, and then I'm going to seam it up together along the sides. How big you want your rectangle to be will be totally up to you. I'm doing the same thing that I did to seam the sleeves to the body of the work, and I'm just doing 2 single crochets into every double crochet across. So here's my completed double crochet that has been seamed up. Now I'm just going to turn it inside out so you can't see the seam. Now I'm just going to wrap the rectangle that we've just made, or the tube that we've just made, around the body of my work. And I'm just going to seam the sides together so that it turns into a tube. You can make this easier on yourself and create the tube without the body of the work in it and then slide it on after. I just have already seamed up my work, or laced up the back, and decided to make things a bit difficult for myself. So I'm just inserting my hook and single crocheting everything together. This part is a little bit tricky, so just be a little bit patient with yourself and try to make sure that all of your stitches line up. So our bow top is done. If you don't prefer to make the bow, if you don't want to keep this middle section and prefer a scrunch top, it's super simple. All you have to do is make a chain. So I'm gonna make mine now. I'm gonna do about maybe 50 chains. It's totally up to you how long you want the strings to be. But I'm just gonna make a chain, and then I'm just gonna weave it through the middle instead of where the bow piece is. So to make the scrunch version of this top, I've just made a long chain, and I'm just gonna thread it through, and I'm gonna alternate, starting it from the bottom, working my way up, going up and down between those double crochets. And I'm going to stop when I reach the top, and then I'm going to go back down in the row next to it in my other middle row. So I've woven my thread through in every other one. Now where which side I weave the other end through is totally up to you. I've decided that I actually would like my bow to be up at the top. So I'm going to weave in the bottom, starting from here, and same thing, just under, over, all the way up. Now it's for the best part. I get to do the scrunch. I'm just gonna push like that. And if you want less scrunch or more scrunch, totally up to you. This is how much I'd like mine. Now that it's done up here, I'm just gonna tie a bow. I'm going to tie it a little bit loose. And then all I have left to do is just clean up these ends, and that's it. And here we have our final version of this crop top. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to give me a follow or a thumbs up. You can find me on Instagram or on Etsy. I am Kay from Hourglass Crochet, and thank you so much for following.